Wow.
Welcome, one and all, to another exciting episode of Coriander Society Adventures. I, tormented by gnomes, have the esteemed privilege of being your host and game master. Joining me, we have the fantastic and talented Ninja Men Matt and Pods of Roar.
All right, cool. You know, I completely forgot to turn my lights on because I'm a freaking professional. Look at the glare. Look at the burning sun of the hateful light.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna fix that. Matt, how you doing?
Oh, you know, I be here, and while I be here, I vamp for the Joe who is messing with his lights. But no, it's been a good day. It's been a fruitful day. I was very busy, and I got a little bit done in regards to home and in regards to my day job. And I'm looking forward to the return of Curse of Tamrian this Friday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time in the evening. So that'll be fun.
I was gonna make fun of you and sit down and be like, "Yeah, that's real interesting. That's very interesting." But you were actually, shilling the channel, so I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Pods, what's going on? What's new with you?
I have nothing new. I am the same, except for it's been a week.
Every day we die a little more.
Yeah.
Oh man. When last we left our intrepid heroes, what was going on?
We went to a funeral, and then we left the funeral, and there was a scary military guy who wanted to team up with us, and we said yes. And then we let my Dargan eat a lot of dead people. That's what I remember.
These are all, in fact, things that happened. Matt, what
I
happened?
should do the recap every day.
You should always do the recap first, 100%. Inspiration for you for that. Matt, what else happened?
Well, before that, we had left Lacunas, had made our way into Northport, and we're getting our fashion on by collecting stuff from the tailor. Before that, we had traveled to Perianth, and we had quite the interaction with Indogalad, the king of the Fluris peoples and leader of all of the elves there. There's been some court hijinks, a shadow war between the various families that don't believe Indogalad is fit to rule, but they know not what the Lord of Flowers knows. And they suck, and he pretty much rocks because he's our best buddy. We love him. He's still dying from a very mysterious and enigmatic sickness that we haven't figured out and he hasn't shared. So that's something for another time. And we brought Charlie back, left Grim back at the Elven homeland, and we are trying to figure out how to stop Atribus, because we kind of did it half measures last time. We're putting together an expedition to head back to the Jokwi and Zungles, so that way we can go back to I believe it was the Crypt of the Jaguar King, something along those lines, to Lekalel, I believe.
The Sunken Circle of Tlekalel.
Thank you very much. That's it. And we're gonna go recover the piece of the flesh of Kor that John hid there when he first arrived here to Yord many moons ago. And we're also gonna grab all of the treasures and artifacts that were left at Senevolger's tomb while we're out there.
Very good. You can have inspiration for that. We find our heroes specifically at the post-funeral reception for Aloysius Carrington, who might have been Asena's grandfather, and who was definitely a what's the word I'm looking for? Omelan traitor.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
Mm-hmm. He exploded along with Professor Orin Strickland, who is also an Omelan agent, on a
bastard.
On a fancy zeppelin over the ocean filled with lots and lots of priceless cultural heirlooms and artifacts. That's all said and done. Our heroes are attending the funeral and trying to act like he wasn't, evil. But as the funeral transpired, as the reception went on, John looked out towards the edge of the garden of the building that they're in. For a brief moment, saw his former teammate, Adriana, who was lost in the world of Leftover. And she had the Red Kiss, the cursed artifact that he only recently gave up in exchange for his angelic wizard magic to get his powers back. She appeared for a moment wearing it and then vanished. So yes, weird stuff is in fact happening. our heroes have also made plans to no, you dragged Gaston to the party, right?
We formally requested because we had big information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've also recently reached out to Hara just to bring her briefly up to speed.
Yeah.
You were figuring out how you wanted to go about running this thingamajiggy, what the timeline is going to be on this next expedition to the Zolkrian jungles, but we specifically left our heroes at the party, and I want to check in to see if there's anything else that you needed to do or anyone else you wanted to talk to at said party.
Yeah, we couldn't check in with the Carringtons because they're very busy being the hostess with the mostest.
Mm-hmm.
And Asena's being very patient, waiting for her maybe mom to be available.
And once she does become available, what do you do? Because you'll be able to get in eventually.
John is going to let Asena handle the Carringtons. John is focusing on getting Gaston the supplies that they need. John's going to, if Gaston and Edelvina have a way of transporting it, he's going to hand over all the mats and all the blueprints and request that the items that he had, is requisitioned the correct word? I think
we'll use
is.
requisitioned. That'll make sense for the time being.
From Manda, she has some armor blueprints for John that he was going to use to update his cloak. Or rather, not a cloak, it's a coat, his long coat. So he would provide Gaston with his long coat and his materials, so that way the upgrades can be fashioned. If Gaston actually ends up using his long cloak, that's fine or not fine. He's just giving it as a base, either as like a hair, make it look like this, or use this and then upgrade it. However, that would end up working out. And aside from that,
there was another point actually. I finally got word to Beatdown about General Sugomo's offer.
Yes, that I was going to get to that.
Well, then by all means get to that. Or wait till later. You let me know.
Get to it. Sorry.
Cut the crap, Hamlet. My biological clock is ticking and I want babies now. Yeah, John's going to pull Gaston aside to where there's no obvious and hopefully inobvious ears. He's going to find a corner of the party. And then now that he has it back, he's going to throw up his minor illusion to make that static field around them. So it makes it difficult for things to pry if they're trying. And he's going to explain. So Gaston, I'm pretty sure this is going to be an outright no, but I figured I'd at least put forth the proposition. Originally, I had need of General Sugomo's assistance, and I still could benefit from it. We could all benefit from it. I no longer have plans of actually joining the Pact Malefict to try to get this information. However, seeing as
nice.
Yeah, well, I became a scion of an angel, so that's I think going to be a good look for me, and a nice road to travel rather than a dark road.
We're going to want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Or not,
yeah.
I'm not sure.
It was honestly one of the most random things that I've ever experienced, and I've experienced quite a lot of random things moving through this multiverse. So, but anyway, c'est la vie. So General Sugomo wants you to help wants you to help create, manufacture, and produce weapons of mass destruction for the Commonwealth. In exchange with your assistance at providing the Commonwealth with the means of being able to heavily get involved in this war, they would then offer our group, 1-2 Punch, the ability of being able to go to the Obsidian Tower and access the various archives that Anonymous keeps under lock and key. Like I've said before, I've been able to kind of weasel my way through many of the traps and safeguards, but General Sugomo, aka Warcrow, a member of the Pact Malefict, would be able to accompany us and effectively act as a pass wall to allow us to get through this place safely and collect the information we need to find out about these elder evils and be more prepared to battle them. Again, there's no deal. There's nothing that has to happen. I asked him for his help, and he said that that's what he's going to need.
I am trying to combat the Omelons here and abroad. Having more resources could make a huge difference in my research.
And my original deal with him, if we were going to go through with this, was to have him sponsor me to join and serve as a guide. So if we take away the sponsorship and just serve as a guide, maybe as much as you're comfortable with in regards to working with them, we could probably broker some sort of deal where you don't have to make actual bombs or something. Yeah, I figure we can all sit down and table that if we need to.
Well, I mean, I'm not averse to building the odd bomb or two. It all just depends on where it's blowing up. Oh, hold on. Shit. Okay, I gotta go. Vector, there's a situation.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, it should be fine. He's just panicking about a recent sighting. Look, I have to go. I'm going to take all of this. I'll get right to work. I promise. And I will call you as soon as I'm done. All right.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Gaston, stay safe out there. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Always. You too. And he will head out. His job here is done.
Gucci, that's pretty much it for John. Although he is going to be keeping an eye out for Coriander agents, Department 7 agents, and if Adiana shows her weird psychically enhanced head around here.
Nope. Does Asena have any other business at the wake? Well, it's not a wake. It's a very frou-frou, hoity-toity event. Very somber. Full string quartet in play. Harvest in the punch bowl, the works.
I assume there's a lot of trade pass appetizers, which she is partaking in a lot of.
Of course. Kelly is there and he's just like, what is this? It's delicious. I'm going to go throw up now.
But as for any proper business, no.
Okay. All right, then. What's your next port of call, heroes? It's probably a difficult time to talk to your financiers about getting an expedition to the Zolkian jungles in the middle of this funeral. But you can definitely catch up with them later, and there could be other people you want to talk to or other things you want to go do. They can be short scenes. We can briefly zoom over them, however you want to handle it.
Just a quick question. Wait, Asena, you're not going to try to speak to maybe Mom about getting this thing set up?
What are you about the museum heist?
Well, no, we can take care of that on our own. We've already done the necessary precautions and legwork for that. No, I mean, this is kind of a life or death situation for this planet. I kind of figured, even though I know we're still mourning Aloysius, at least putting it on the table, like getting hey, we'll meet up with you at such and such a time, might be a good idea. Fate of the world and all that.
I mean, if you want to tell her, but I guess we were going to take her to Lacunas last we talked to her.
That was definitely on the table. If you think we're still comfortable with that, I mean, I think it's fine.
I just don't think that maybe now's the time. She's got a lot of people to talk to right now. And if we get her all worked up about the end of the world.
Perhaps you could at least set up hey, Ma, we should talk later kind of a dealio, just so that way you're able to get into her schedule in case things start ramping up.
I guess I kind of like to just show up and surprise her.
Well, we always have the lightning bug if it turns out nothing can happen. And I've got some contacts in the city myself. So if it turns out that the Carringtons aren't a viable sponsor, there's always more. So I'll go ahead and default to your expertise in regards to your maybe family's matters.
I can go bug her and tell her that we're going to bug her later, but that just seems weird.
Then let's just go.
Asena's going to walk over to her maybe mom.
Okay. She's in the middle of like somebody's, she's wearing long black gloves and somebody's like holding her hands together and speaking earnestly and she's thanking them. And it takes her a moment to gracefully, gently get them to go away because she's signaled that, well, thank you so much for being here. That sort of signaling it's time for you to depart and let someone else talk. She's given that signal several times. And so she finally shakes this person off and then goes over to embrace you, Asena. And again, is so glad that you're here. And what would she do without you and John? Nobody else really understands. This is an awful situation.
Yeah, if we weren't here, then we wouldn't be able to save you from that person who was talking too long.
Perfect. Yes. Maybe you need something. Excuse me, everyone, just a moment. And then she walks away with you to get the hell away from all of them. There are some genuine signs that she's been crying, but again, they're very complicated tears.
We are going to be going now, but this was a lovely funeral, as lovely as funerals can be. And John told me to tell you that we are going to bug you later because maybe we shouldn't just show up unannounced.
Oh,
Later.
well, I mean, you should have my phone number. She pulls out a calling card and gives it to you.
Oh, phone number. You have one too.
Yes, obviously you'll only be able to reach me if I'm at the penthouse, but I have a messaging service, so in the event that I'm not available, somebody will take a message for me and pass it along. But please feel free to stop by. Jasper and Horace shouldn't give you any trouble.
That's good. Yeah, we still have to go on our trip, and we gotta talk about grandfather eventually.
So I would love to go and visit the prince and the venue that we've selected for the gala, but Aloysius's will is going to be very complicated to untangle, and I'm afraid that I'm going to be bogged down with legal this, that, and the other for quite some time. So I will certainly have time to discuss dear old grandfather, but it may be hard for me to get away from the city for a little while.
Okay. Good to know. Understandable. Yeah, we'll just chat later. Have fun? Don't have fun.
She finds you delightful and endearing and gives you another kiss on the cheek and goes ahead and lets you go. And goes back to dealing with the socialites, hobnobbing with the nabobs.
Okay, well, I got her number.
Well, that's good. We'll be able to at least check in before the next time we show up.
Yeah.
So,
where are we going now?
Well, I was just going to ask that myself. It seems as though we're going to have to take some time to get our plans set up. Hara did say to meet them back at the institute. So I'm thinking, Opal's here. We could either just catch a ride back with her, depending on how long she's planning on staying. She might be planning to stay with Philip for some time, though. So it might be in our best interest to just go ahead and make our way there, just to catch Hara up on everything that happened and really make our plan of action. We no longer have the funeral hanging over our heads in regards to time. So the world is our oyster, except for the fact that, I don't know, the Coriander Society has captured us, taken our items, and we still don't know where they are, how they're going to see about tracking us. We know that they are able to follow me, so they know that I'm here right now with you and all these people. We probably shouldn't linger here too long because of that. We are, however, far better prepared for them, and John's going to go ahead and kind of slap the blasters that they collected from Lacunas, and wherever you're hiding your shoulder-mounted cannon, possibly in the bag of holding. So we're far more prepared to deal with them when they arrive. I think that considering you were able to help us make a quick escape, we are likely not going to see from them until they can catch us in a bad way. So if we would like a meeting with them, we'll probably need to put ourselves in a sticky situation that they're going to want to capitalize on. Additionally, now that we've decided to work with General Sugumo is not only in charge of the war efforts here in the Commonwealth, they are in charge of departments. And I always forget, is it 7 or 9? I always say
7.
the wrong one. Apparently, it is 7. They're in charge of Department 7, which Department 7, one of their upper echelon, being Hank McCarthy, works along with the Coriander Society. We weren't able to get in touch with them last time, but now that things have kind of calmed down a bit, I'd like to try to get back in touch with them. I'm a little worried that because they were helping to safeguard us from the watchful eye of the society, it's possible they could be in a bit of trouble. So on my docket, I'd like to get back to Hara. I'd like to check in with Hank. And I would like to capture that portal that we had discussed, since we did all the work and prepping ourselves for that little soiree of sorts.
That sounds like so many things to do.
That sounds like life.
3. Can we summarize it? We have 3 things. We have Hara talk, Hank talk,
And steal portal from museum.
Museum,
Heist.
fun, exciting, steal things.
Yes, exactly. Talk, and heist. Exactly.
Okay, let's make the talk things really fast, and so that way we can go do the stealing.
That sounds good. Let's go ahead and do that. Mate, are we in Pioneer Park? Our little thingamajig shows it.
Yes.
Perfect. Well then, while we're here, why don't I just call up Hank, see if I can get a hold of him, and if I can't, let's just make our way across the bay and check in at the Department 7 location. And we're either going to get jumped by the society or we're going to be able to check in with Hank. And if that doesn't work, then we'll come back to that later and we can make our way down to the Institute and talk with Hara before going all the way back up here to get to the museum. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's, I guess, go ahead and get a taxi. Where's your dragon, our dog, by the way? Is it here with you? I didn't check.
Maybe we just left it outside with the door people.
We left it outside with the doorman? Oh no, John runs out. I hope there's still a doorman there. There is no doorman.
You do not
It's just a dog.
You do not see the doorman.
Oh no. Or the dog?
You do, however, see the dog.
Dargan.
Dargan.
Where's the doorman?
Where's the doorman?
The meat puppet fled.
Oh, thank God. Oh, John clutches at his heart. I don't know how much more of this dog I can take.
What do you mean? You don't love him? He's such a good boy.
Dargan spits out a shoe.
Just
Dargan.
like Chester.
Okay, Dargan is not just like Chester. Speaking of which, Chester's going to move on over, just kind of saddle up towards Dargan and just give it a little boop on the nose. Dargan, where did that shoe come from? Is that from the doorman that fled?
The meat puppet fled. We were entitled to an attack of opportunity, but only collected this shoe.
You know what? This is actually going to prove very useful. John takes the shoe and is going to go ahead and dump it in his bag of holding. Because now I can find that doorman if I need to.
All right. Anything else, team?
Is that... go ahead.
I'll tell the Dargan that he probably shouldn't just attack things unless we say it's okay.
Why?
Because I'm your maybe, and because I said so.
Do persuasion, intimidation, or animal handling, your choice.
Okay. Which one is higher?
19.
Nice.
good. Don't forget that I saved your life.
Dargan sulks.
We also just let you eat a lot of people, so it's not like I'm saying you can't eat people. We just have to eat certain people. Okay, let's go now.
All right. You pack Dargan, Chester, and the two of you into some poor, unfortunate cabbie's vehicle. And where are you asking to go?
The Pinnacle Bank.
Pinnacle Bank building coming up. It's still
Pinnacle Bank is next door, right?
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Mm-hmm. It's a little over a mile, maybe like a mile and a half to get there.
Okay.
Still raining, of course, as befits a funeral in Northport.
Yeah. The Carringtons went up to one of the Commonwealth Park employees. Hi, can you turn on the rain? We have a funeral today.
Yes, of course, of course. Ms. Carrington, Ms. Ruiz Carrington, of course. You pull up to the McCulloch building, which is not the tallest in Newton, but does cast the longest shadow. Large, featureless, brutalist architecture. Doesn't really fit in with the Art Deco everywhere else. You are not attacked along the way.
Oh, that's good.
Though you're also not taking secret tunnels beneath the Undercity. Gabby drops you off and collects his fare and heads on out, leaving the two of you standing in the rain in front of this ominous structure.
And on the way, John is going to go ahead and take out his phone and try to call McCarthy. And by the time they arrive, hopefully something goes through.
Nope. It beeps as if it's been disconnected.
Oh, goody. All right. Well, John's going to send a message, sending to McCarthy. Let's see here. You know, this is going to be John, so. Are you okay? Question mark. Society involved? Question mark. We are en route to Department 7. Should we proceed? Question mark.
Am okay.
I have magic.
Am okay. Military custody. Do not Department 7.
John's going to send another spell. Need evac? Question mark. We can help. Statement. If yes, where, why, and how? Miss you. Statement ends.
Voluntary custody. No help needed. They don't know me. I never worked there. Sure.
All right. Well, talk is over. I guess we're fine. We hop back in the cab.
I like
Wow, that was a beautiful bank.
That was some great talking.
And all that happened inside John's head. So he just walked out, looked around when he put down his phone, made some magical gestures, muttered to him, like, did it again. All right, Asena, let's go.
I like to imagine it was very similar to Asena in The Crown. John is just talking out loud, and she could just hear his one-sided, very statement-like conversation. And I guess we'll hop back in the cab and head on down to where we need to go. You are muted. That's a +1 XP for us.
That is, in fact, +1 XP. Where is where you need to go? You heading to the Institute?
Yeah, Donahue Institute.
All right. The Wisdom of the Seer has been played. I'm going to have Pods roll 1d20, please.
Mate, it looks like that's going to be almost 3 miles.
Okay.
Is there a better way to do that? God, that looks like so much distance. Well, there's a much better way to do that. No? Yeah, there is. 2 miles instead.
That's technically a 1d20. That's literally all it is. It's just rolling.
Plasma cannon heat level.
Okay, so you can replace when anybody's about to roll any d20. Either of you can replace the roll with a 7 before I even roll it.
Oh, snap. That's
if
cool.
I roll too fast because of the wisdom of the seer from D20 Deathmatch. And if I roll too fast, we can negotiate.
Oh.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
That expires at the end of the session.
Do I get a roll or is it just one for all?
One roll, both of you have it.
Cool. I'm here for it. A 7. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. You pull up the circular drive of the Donahue Institute, where again it is raining, and you've got students out practicing their special abilities out in the rain. The butler at the front gestures you inside. Mr. Carmichael, Miss Asena, the lady is not currently in the house. I suppose you're here to speak with the headmistress.
Yes, that's correct. Is it all right if we just wait in the foyer while she gets ready?
Of course, absolutely. Right this way. And he'll usher you in. You've got the 2 rising staircases up front. And it's not long before Hara steps out onto the landing up above. Her silver hair back in a tight bun, the way that she wears, and her glasses on, the way that she wears it when she's the headmistress, long dress. She'll go ahead and drum her fingers along the edge of the banister and says, John, looking better than ever. Asena, you're not dead. Good. Lots to catch up on. Let's talk.
Yes, absolutely. And how does Hara look right now? Are they okay?
Good. Yeah. Good. Looks fine.
We got a surprise for you, except for it's not really a surprise because we told you.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and take you into the office, shut the door, mutter some words, and some wards glow on the walls as it activates a private sanctum on the room.
Nice. Quick question, mate. As we walk around, John just takes a quick look as we move through. How is the Institute doing? Has the damage since the fight that happened a while back been repaired? Or
Yeah,
is it
there's still some signs here and there, but thanks to mending spells and such, it's mostly back to normal.
Great. Okay, fantastic. That's lovely.
So, how'd you do it?
You know, it was kind of happenstance, to be honest. And John's gonna just recount the last few bits of what's been happening,
Okay.
Including their capture by the Coriander Society, Asena's extrication of their arrest, and meeting up with an archangel while we were on our way to Lacunas. Actually, originally Perianth, and then diverting to Lacunas quickly afterwards. How we saved, not St. George, he asked me to call him Go Argus, from the Pits of Shadow, and she is very aware of what happened at the Pits of Shadow. So the defeat of the Shadow version of Drigarca Duarte is possibly a surprise. I don't know her exact reaction to that, but with that done, Asena and John bound themselves to the will of the host of heaven from the mountains of Celestia, and Asena has some badass new angel monk powers, and John was able to not only get his, well, it might be his magic back. John clarifies that he has magic again, and at that, by saying that, he actually is just checking in with Hara, a little bit worried. He wants to ensure, Hara, your magic wasn't taken away. The magic that I gave you in recompense for what happened, you still have access to that potential, correct?
She holds up her hand and casts Fireball, but it remains just floating in the palm. And she weaves it and moves her fingers, and the little pea-sized ball flows between her hands before she closes her hand around it.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, you were always a very talented mage, but I'll take that as a yes. So that itself is odd. I'm not sure if the host of heaven has mended my magic. What was that the void that happened between us on Ashen or if this is something entirely new. I do know that my previous specialty has, unfortunately, it's still there. I know it's there, but I just can't. Like, when you know something and it's at the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite remember it. That's what's happening with my previous arcane specialty of wards and my abjuration. But in its place, I have discovered the ability to utilize the names of the angels to form angelic wards and seals. So it's still in the same ballpark, just different toys for this playground, if you know what I mean.
Can we go back to the part where the rest of the pieces of the flesh of Kura are missing?
Yeah, that's the main crux of this. Right now, Hara and I are working on getting an expedition to head back to Zokuia to take care of that loose end here on Yord. But yes, right now the society has the case, and within my briefcase, the remaining pieces of the flesh of Kor. And as I think we caught you up on, but the Elder Evils are all searching for the pieces that are out there. So our plan, as it stands, is to recover our missing items, including Krantaka, and then go back on a world tour and collect all the pieces of the flesh of Kor that were sealed across the multiverse. You want to help? You mind lending us your aid with any of that?
Let me work out some. Have you done any sort of divination on any of this yet, John?
Well, I only just recently got my mojo back, and not quite. I haven't looked for the bag yet. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried. I know that the society is already tracking me, and that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to even be here at the Institute. But you had suggested that we come here. But they haven't made a move yet. I don't think they're going to make a move until we are vulnerable. And with a freaking dragon here, I doubt we are. What would you suggest?
Well, research suggests that Atropus is completely obscured from any kind of prediction magic whatsoever. Because it would be useful to know how long we have before he arrives and snuffs out all life on this pathetic rock.
Didn't we? Wasn't it a year? I thought.
Yeah, but I don't remember how we found that out. It wasn't through magic. Found out through some other means.
Was Florence?
Yes, Florence is the one source of information that we have. I think I'm going to work with her to see how long, in fact, we do have. Because if that timeline hasn't changed, then maybe there are other priorities at the moment. Maybe there are other things that can take precedence.
That's true.
A year's a long time.
A year is a very long time. You know how much time has passed since we met Asena?
Like a month.
Yeah, tops. So we have, unless that timeline has accelerated, it may not be the most important crisis. The most important crisis would be tracking down all of your equipment, getting the rest of the pieces of the flesh. Can you think of any other pieces of the flesh anywhere that pose a enormous threat, more so than the flesh of Kur?
I mean, not exactly. I know that I want us first and foremost to recover Yord's flesh, Periant's flesh, any flesh where there is going to be a considerable civilian presence. There are some places that are buried in long forgotten tombs of ancient gods and destroyed worlds. So those ones I'm not so worried about. But yes, you're right. I mean, to be honest, I'm not exactly itching to go tangling with the society, but Oriel did say that as long as we had a chance of being able to explain ourselves, they should listen and be more understanding than their original interaction with us would lead us to believe. I was kind of hoping to have you as our ace in the hole, possibly if you could travel with us but not alongside us, we could set up a situation in which the society couldn't avoid trying to capture us again. And when that happens, instead of us being taken into custody, you can swoop in and we can capture and interrogate them instead, or explain what's happening. Or at least if you have a way of tracking us when we get captured, you'd know where we are and can. If things go terribly, you can always mount a recovery effort.
Yeah, I have a school to run. I can't just follow the two of you around everywhere you go. I'll work on one of those other options. Look, for short periods, Asena, of course I'll go with you, but I can't leave all of these children. Can you imagine how irresponsible it is to give children access to this level of power?
There's no other teachers here. You're the only one.
I'm the only one who has any idea what I'm really doing. Everyone else here they're all amateurs. They're all learning as much as anyone else is. Okay. Asena, what are you going to do?
Sounds like you need more teachers.
If you happen to find any qualified candidates, send them my way.
Are we entering our magical school arc of Coriander Society now?
No, Ahara is on her magical school arc and has been for a while. If you want her help, like if there's a urgent crisis or something personally important to her, yeah, she'll go with you. But if you want more of her help, she needs more help around the house. So consider it yet another side quest you can choose to ignore or do.
Oh, great.
Asena, what about you? You've fulfilled your grand purpose. You killed the thing that ate your soul. Where are you off to next? You just tagging along as usual?
Yeah, I gotta go find like a purpose or something.
Any ideas?
I guess I have to raise this baby dragon.
Right. The dragon. She'll go ahead and look at it. Poke around, snaps and snarls at her, and she just kind of stares it down and does that thing where her shadow grows, like starts to turn into the shadow of a dragon, but she maintains her own body she talks back and forth with it in Draconic. You have an odd creature here. You know, a hatchling dragon is about as intelligent as an average human.
That's good, right?
Well, it depends entirely on who you ask, Asena. I'm not the one who has to raise it. Good luck.
Just as a brief
I was
aside,
hoping you could like maybe help just sometimes, since you know Dargan things, and I only know a little bit of Dargan things.
I never reared my own clutch of eggs, but I do know dragon things. If you ever need to keep this Dargan somewhere, you can leave him with me. And if you need parenting advice or dragon advice, I'm happy to help out. I'll see what else I can figure out along the way, but this is, I was with John when he defeated Jirgaka Dwayarte the first time, and this thing is going to grow up to be a monster. Or at least
like
it's supposed to.
A good monster. Right?
Well, if it wasn't for the high heavens themselves suggesting otherwise, Asena, I'd say that's impossible. So I guess it just depends on you.
Well, we'll try. Maybe worst case scenario, we'll have to.
It's your responsibility, so that fits. Now, refresh me. What was the plan to capture this portal? Who all did you have involved with
plans. I forgot which one we chose.
I mean, stuff happened while you had to end up dipping for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if things fell apart a little bit.
I think we were gonna steal it and replace it with a new one.
Yeah, we were working with Gaston to. Long story short, this was a few days ago before we ended up going on this recent magical tour. We had gotten what's his name, Vector, to go back to Zokia on the lightning bug, collect some samples of the ore that were there, and then Gaston was either going to use those samples to fabricate a really good imitation or actually take stone blocks and carve them. Whatever they ended up deciding. But we were going to make a very, very, very good facsimile of the portal. John collected all the data so that way they had an exact blueprint of all the little chips and nooks and crannies and designs and yada yada. They were going to utilize not only Gaston's prowess with science and engineering, but their prop making in order to make a prop. We were then going to take that prop in under the cover of night and take the portal, dump it into what was going to be the briefcase, but will now be the bag of holding, one piece at a time, and then unload one piece at a time the portal, rebuild it, and then get the heck out of there, and then rebuild it back at the Institute. We had collected not only data of the guards' schedules, how they were going to move around. We also had John move in and hijack he put in one of his kill switches in the server room to where at a moment he could activate that and then it would cut all power. Or rather, they were going to have Asena cut the power, and then they had that reserve that would put lights on, but then he was going to cut the reserve power so they'd be completely powerless within the building. So that way they'd be running around trying to figure out what the heck's going on there while we go about doing what we're doing. I kind of figured John would get the portal in and out while Asena runs interference, cuts the power, and then just beats the crap out of any guards that get too close, that kind of a thing.
Okay. One thing that stands out to me, John and Asena, is that the curator of the museum recently passed away in a tragic accident.
Was that one of the ones that was bad-mouthing us the last time we left?
Dr. Strickland.
Oh, that one.
The university. Yeah, he's dead now. There's going to be some administrative chaos.
Who killed him?
Didn't he explode in the Zeppelin?
Yeah, he was an Omelon spy.
He was with your maybe grandpa when they blew up in the Zeppelin.
Awesome.
Just another factor to consider.
So you're saying that
can
during
we just go in there and say that my grandpa gave me this and take it? What do you think that'll work?
That, with a little bit more work, is not the worst idea, Asena.
Yeah, we could just be moving the portal, or rather moving the ancient artifact.
It's technically it's on loan from the Zolkian government because it was in their territory. It was here under the authority and auspices of Dr. Oren Strickland. With his death, that entire arrangement is going to come into consideration. Contingencies are going to be put into place. There's going to be some red tape, some paperwork.
So we could just ask if my maybe mom can have it. Since that guy's dead.
She has social connections, Asena. It's worth a shot. Again, maybe with some slight detail adjustment, but you're on the right. I think you're on a good track. It does sound like you have a good plan. You can feel free to go ahead and execute that. I bet the two of you could take care of that tonight if you felt like it. You've done your research.
This is Matt talking, not John talking. Is this the DM saying that, hey, I'd rather not run a heist right now. Let's just hand wave this and give me inspiration, or let's make some rolls, or
no? I mean, this is literally just something that has happened recently. It's just a changing factor. I want you to do something. You wanted to get the talking over and then go straight to having fun. So this is just more options.
Okay. Well, it sounds like Asena is very much into the idea of surprisingly using bureaucracy instead of wet work to get this done. So
I mean, John, I still want to punch things. So
well, you can smash that seal of approval on this job if you want.
We can always just like say, if we get caught, just say we were taking it because it's in the will, and they might believe us.
And if you're looking for things to punch, Asena, there's always crime is not exactly at a low. There's still gang wars going on and civilians in distress, and plenty of Omelons overseas who could use a good fist in the face.
Well, that's true. But again, with our initial worrisome matters, we don't want to go running off solving crime when we should be collecting what's going on with the society, which again, further to the point, is less about us running across the universe until this happens, Hara, and more so my request for assistance from you wasn't to spend your your evenings running around with us, but was more so to spend one evening if we can come up with a plan to have the society jump
Absolutely.
us.
Yes, of course.
So I think that aside from, I think collecting the portal, damn good idea. Mostly because I want it and I don't want to have to go through the museum every time we come back here. But I think that trying to draw out the society is probably the next best thing we should be working on. Don't you think, Asena?
Yes, we will draw them.
And how would you go about doing that?
With
Well,
pen and paper.
one of our glorious pens that we bought so many weeks ago.
We could paint them.
Well, whatever medium we use to transcribe their appearance is irrelevant, I think, Asena.
Oh, but she asked.
How
to
think
draw
that-
them out.
Exactly. Last time they attacked when we were making our way to the Department 7 building. We were in a tunnel with very few avenues of escape. They used that time to surprise us when we were unaware of them to take us in. They are now going to know that we are aware of them. So I think that they're only going to likely try to arrest us again when we are in dire straits. So I think we need to set up a situation in which it looks like Asena and I are about to, be captured by someone else or possibly die. A very dire situation needs to be facilitated in which the society won't be able to ignore, and they'll move in, in their minds, take us, and then be on their way.
What's the most dangerous threat that we could get up to here in Northport? You.
I mean, the most dangerous thing I've ever. What?
The two of you, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, the last
Mr.
time
Lowe's gone. The column is gone.
We could have the general.
Yeah, that was the most. That was the most dangerous thing we've encountered. What was that?
The door.
Why does it sound like someone screaming?
That's
Just a pocket door.
Everett practicing with his machine control downstairs. He just spun out one
there
of
you
the
go.
cars. Yeah.
There's also Dr. Zorbius, but they're a little bit tied up right now.
Nobody's seen anything from Dr. Zorbius since that submarine raid on his underwater base. We could try to draw him out if he's alive.
We
Or you
certainly could.
Or you could get Sugomo to send a Black Ops squad to attack you in a dark alley somewhere and see if that would work.
It's not a bad idea. We probably should check in with Sugomo and explain our intention and getting their assistance by also proposing that Gaston seems interested in working with them. This could open channels that would allow us to be able to get the two of them working together, and it would further our goal towards getting into the archives of the Obsidian Tower. So that's probably a good idea.
That would benefit everyone involved.
Would we be able to count on you to at least be on standby, Ara, in case things go south?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I have duties here, but that doesn't mean I can't help you out in a pinch. Something like this, a one-off? Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Asena, what do you say we, before we maybe end up not in Northport anymore, why don't we finalize our portal plans and then go talk to Sugomo and see if we can get ourselves captured again?
Captured. Sounds good to me.
Okay. John, don't forget, as an investigator, you can use your special feature to try to find anybody in the city, including Coriander agents.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing I could do. I mean, I knew that was a thing I do. I didn't know I could actually look up Coriander agents with that. Hell yeah.
And you can try to get a clue to find literally anybody. If you
Well, then how
use
about
that.
this?
It just
Why
takes a
don't
certain amount
we-
of time.
Yeah, why don't we have Asena set up trying to just acquiesce the portal, and while she's working on that, I can look around town, do my gumshoe thing.
Okay, so you're going to need a slightly different plan if John is not going to be at the portal heist.
No. Well, not the heist. Try to do the paperwork thing. We'll go the
Oh, right.
paperwork
right.
angle first,
Oh, I thought
and
you
then.
wanted to steal it first and then
Well,
paperwork.
Well, why would we need to do paperwork if we've already stolen it?
Well, because it was a backup, because you wanted to steal it.
Well, yeah, but if we can just have you just, paperwork steal it, then we can keep the actual stealing it as a backup if that doesn't work,
Okay.
right?
All right. So do you want to go ahead and split the party? John's you can look up the rules for your thing and roll 1,000,000 checks, Matt. And we'll go ahead and have Asena go see Jasmine. You can either do this late tonight, although actually she's probably going to be out late tonight, like socializing with all this stuff, cleaning up the party, etc. So you can either go tomorrow morning, or when would you want to go see your mom?
Probably the morning.
Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead and give both of you a long rest. You gain all the benefits thereof. And John, you can start on the hunt. Ask me any questions that you have. You may need to look up the ability in the PDF to do the urban tracking thing. But yeah, it cuts out a lot of the middlemen. And Asena can go ahead, and if you want to take a cab over to the penthouse, assuming that's what you want to do, assuming there's nothing different you want to do.
No, I could do that. Can I ask John to call ahead?
John absolutely calls ahead.
When John calls ahead, we get 1 XP.
Plus 1 XP.
Exactly, for calling ahead. And you each gain 1 lucky dice that must be used before the end of the adventure.
Ooh.
Lovely.
The end of the session. You also have a windfall card that was played earlier. Unexpected wealth, money, treasure, etc. So
what? Fame and wealth beyond your wildest dreams?
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So your baby mom is forewarned of your presence. And as you drive up to the front, Jasper, the door attendant, is once again in residence.
Hey, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Can we use the windfall to modify what Asena's doing, since it says, doing goods on reward money is pretty neat too. So it says get a real appropriate treasure for the world you're in. Could we just have, modifying documents be the treasure? Like,
this can absolutely contribute to your red card, to your bureaucratic efforts if you want. Pause. Are you good with
okay
that or
with
no?
that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Ta-da!
Jasper recognizes you this time and ushers you in as if the previous interaction where he tried to no-sell you never happened.
Hello. Thank you for letting me in. What was your name again?
Jasper, Miss Ruiz Carrington. A pleasure to see you again.
It's nice to see you too. I'll try to remember your name next time.
No need to bother, ma'am. Shall we have the elevator called up to the penthouse for you?
Yes, please.
Very, very good. And he'll go ahead and take care of that. Offers you a champagne and a mint.
Asena's going to take both and drop them in the champagne.
It starts fizzing and bubbling and spewing over like it's Mentos in the Diet Coke.
That is supposed to happen.
Of course, ma'am. I'll see to a towel and some club soda.
Thank you.
He walks off to clean up the mess.
Not Asena in her mean era.
Just then the elevator dings and you're able to go on up. You see him, the last thing you see is him, he grabs club soda and a towel, and then as soon as you're in the elevator, he gives it to somebody else, one of the other attendants, and tells them to clean it up instead of him.
Okay, I feel kind of bad.
You get back up to the beautiful penthouse. Your maybe mother is definitely hungover. All the curtains are drawn. There's like faint phonograph music, very light playing. It's dark inside. You smell very strong, rich coffee. She's got an ice pack for her head.
Are you okay?
Oh, just the side effects of mourning, dear. Please sit down.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I was going to ask how you're doing, but it seems like you're not doing so great.
It's nothing I haven't dealt with before, dear.
Well, two things. I wanted to ask for your help on something, and the other thing was, do you remember when you wanted me to get some extra info from my maybe brother?
Yes.
Has he talked to you since then? By chance?
I mean, yes, certainly we've spoken. Not about anything that would raise that suspicion or that particular matter. Why do you ask?
Because I chatted with him and learned some things about maybe Grandpa, and I just didn't want to tell you until after the funeral.
Oh, it's the conditions of his death. Yes.
I mean, you don't have to know if you don't want to know.
Well, dear, I fell in love with your father, not your grandfather. And there's a reason I've always kept my original maiden name, Ruiz. So, while the scandalous details of my father-in-law's passing are a burden unto themselves, they do nothing to taint the memory of the man I once loved. As long as they're never, ever, ever made public, of course.
Right. So that means yes.
Yes.
This is the part where Janessa forgot what she's supposed to tell her.
That's totally fine.
Was it just that he blew up in a Zeppelin?
And he was an Omelon spy and all that stuff. But she knows. She's been brought up to speed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because she was like suspicious that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
Or that Philip was hiding something about it.
Mm-hmm. Philip was trying to hide it from her. He was trying to protect her. She almost already knew. They were just doing rich people, dysfunctional family stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll just reiterate that and let her know that it is true. At least that's what Philip told us, but we have reason to believe him and no reason not to.
Weighs heavy on her, and as she deals with the will, she's going to be on the lookout for anything suspicious.
I mean, that's a good segue to the next topic.
Yeah, you needed help with something. Of course, anything, darling, anything.
So there is a big guy. Does the name Atropus bring back any memories for you?
No.
So basically there's this big guy and he's gonna destroy the world. And we've got about a year to save it. And one of the ways that we need to do it is we got to use the portal that's in the museum to get to Zolquia. And it's really hard to get in the portal every time. So I was wondering if maybe there were some strings you could pull so that way we could have the portal.
I'm sorry. What was that about the end of the world?
Oh yeah. I probably shouldn't have led with that. But it's this big old story. You know my friend John, he's from a different universe.
An alternate sphere of reality. Yes, yes. I mean, the society always taught about such things. Oh.
Yeah, so there's something about some sort of flesh, and he's got to go collect all the little pieces and all the universes, and if he doesn't, a big god comes and destroys things. And there's one here, and it's in Zolquia because we forgot to get it. I'm not so great at explaining.
You see her grab a small bottle and pour it into her coffee and then take another sip of her coffee. It now smells distinctly like alcohol. So you need this thing from the museum acquired, right?
Right. So the guy who used to work at the museum also was in the Zeppelin explosion, and he was the one that was in charge of this portal. So I was wondering if maybe grandfather's will maybe outlined what would have happened, or maybe the other guy's will outlined what would have happened to that loaned item.
She taps her nose. Rolls an insight check. Gets a 21. If she'd rolled a natural 1, she would have been like, oh, you're looking to hold a Zeppelin-themed birthday party. I see what's going on. But no, she landed it. You know, I've only just started going through, but I could swear I saw a very specific mention of that in the estate plan.
Maybe the estate plan allows family to hold on to it or become the purveyor. Is that the right word?
Caretaker in this case, but purveyor isn't the right thought. No, dear, I let me speak with my lawyer and with the executor of the estate and with the provost of the university and perhaps with the ambassador from Zolquia. We did have dinner at that benefit gala last year. I think he'll still remember me. Let me make some calls, and by the end of the day, I'll see what I can have done for you.
Wow, that's quick. That would be great. And remember, we're just trying to save the world, which we could totally do as long as we get the portal. I'm sure it's not going to be that big of a deal.
There's things I've seen you accomplish, dear. I'm sure we're in the best of possible hands.
Awesome. Oh, there's one more thing.
Lowers coffee.
I have a puppy now.
Oh, you do? Congratulations, dear. I'm so happy. What have you named it? When do I get to meet him?
I don't have a name yet. But I will come up with one. If you have any suggestions, let me know.
It all depends on the breed and the personality and the very nature of the dog. You don't pick the name picks the dog. It must speak to you in the very recesses of your heart.
Well, I hope that's not the case, or else we might have a very bad name. It's kind of a bad puppy.
Do you need I happen to know the finest dog trainers and obedience experts. I'm sure I can make a call and call in a favor for you, darling.
That would be great.
Perfect. And she'll go ahead and take a little note in her daily planner.
Thank you so much. You do so much for me, and I don't really do much, but I appreciate it.
It is simply a joy to have you back in my life after all these years, love. And perhaps when things settle down, we can go on this trip to go see the gala venue. and talk about party planning?
Right. And that would be so fun.
Perfect. She'll offer you some coffee. You're welcome to stay as long as you want. You can take off whenever you want.
I think she'll stay for a little while because she
Mhm.
feels bad about just asking things and leaving.
Raised by Wolves still has some social graces.
I'm sure that the wolves had some cultural norms.
For sure. All right. And then she's going to do play some calls. And we'll do a wealth check for her as well, with the benefit of that recent windfall. And so by the time that you leave, she's already on the phone, schmoozing up the ambassador to Zolquia, talking with the museum provost about how there is a large section of his will was to be dedicated to the museum to name an entire wing after, the Carrington Research Center or whatnot. So I'm certain that we could arrange for a small loan of this, blah, blah, blah. So she's off to bat for you on this portal business immediately.
Awesome.
John, have you had any luck figuring out how your nonsense works?
Absolutely. Also, mate, as just a quick aside, would you mind just dropping? There it is. There's the Discord link. Cool. This is just a cool little shout out. Anybody who has questions about, D&D, how we do things, or want us to join a community that can help you with your player or DM needs, feel free to join our Discord, Caches Castles. It's already been dropped in our links here, and there is a plethora of resources we have available, either with people you can check in with or just the various channels that can assist you with any of your DMing needs. So please go ahead and check that out. Additionally, yes, I have quite a bit that I've researched. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this in here for you. These are the modifiers that I've researched. The ones that are on top are the pluses and minuses that are already in-game applicable. And then starting after Mark is lying low, those are my proposals that it said that you can kind of work with the DM on working out to modify what you got going on. So this is what I'm going to be pushing for / suggesting to change the condition, because the DC, considering this is I don't know how this is exactly going to work, but what I'm looking at here is if we're just saying that it's within the metropolis, we're going to be searching a metropolis. So that's going to be, this is a metropolis, right?
It's a metropolis for sure.
So that's 2d6 rolls that have to be made for investigation. Additionally, the DC for a metropolis is DC 20, but this is a cosmic organization. I'm not sure if we're taking international for a DC 35, or if it's a DC 20.
You're searching this city.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, you're searching this city. So it's only a DC 20. Furthermore, I see some of the modifiers you put. -1 per 3 members in Mark's group. Yeah, there were 3 of them. So that'll apply. -2 if the community searched is lawful good. Northport is not a lawful good community, so that one's out.
Oh. I thought it meant I did that wrong. I thought it was just good. Okay, never mind.
No, Northport's neutral. It's a city of
it said lawful or good. Sorry, not lawful good. Lawful or good. Is this a good community or is that a neutral community?
No, Northport's a neutral community for sure, because you're searching the Northport community.
We've done so much to make it better, though. It's not good now.
Yeah, but it's been a month, my guy. Slow your roll.
Wow. All right. Well, never mind. Ignore that then.
They're not hostile to the Coriander Society because they have no idea who they are. So that one's out.
Those were just some maybes. Okay. It's been 2 days, right, since the thing happened. Okay, so that's +2. I don't know if this community is afraid or friendly to them.
Never heard of them.
So, cool. Good,
what's funny? It used to be that if you were looking for like members of the column, this would apply because they're afraid of the column. They've never heard of the Coriander Society, so that one's out.
And then I'm assuming they're lying low. That makes sense.
Yep.
So we're looking at +6 versus -1. So this is going to be a +5 to the DC. But then I have the stuff that I've put forward. So I'm thinking that if John can tap all of the various factions that he's made as allies in town to help him look, that he could get a -1 to the DC per faction. Like assist getting the urchins from Prince Caspian. We could get the Red Hand. I mean, we could try to tap a little more. We've got the King of the Underworld and the White Ghost with, I don't know what their group is yet, but
I'll give you a -5. for that.
Okay, cool. Great. And then John was thinking about utilizing, now that he has spells, he can do locate object, locate creature over the course of his investigation. So I was thinking that we could get a negative depending on if it's applicable during the course of the investigation. That could be used to help with any of his rolls.
I'm going to say limited applicability there. So half the spell level on that one.
I also meant to put -3, not +3. If the community, so if Northport, if he's bribing people throughout to try to have anybody who's holding out information, that
I think that's kind of part of the investigative process. It's sort of rolled in. It's assumed that PIs are doing that stuff.
Because it says the DC can be adjusted with the right context, payoffs, and questions. So that's why I figured something like that could be added.
That's fine.
And
I'm not
because there's something in here about.
I'm not going to give you the -5 for knowing how the Coriander Society functions. I am going to give you advantage.
I already have advantage.
Well, then sucks to suck.
Okay.
Puts
that's
it at
fine.
Like DC 16 at this point?
With a +6, -1. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, your investigation is nutty. So
It is. And then what about scrying? Because John has the goo that he can use to try to find them.
I will roll a. Actually, hold on.
Because I'm thinking if John can just actually scry them, then that cuts out a lot of the middleman. Or at least if he doesn't recognize where they are, it can help with his investigation, you know?
Scrying fails.
Like just automatically? No.
Yes. It fails when you attempt it.
Okay. Well,
which means either they're under the effects of protective magic or something else.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that case, if we have a -6, then that's -20. So it should be a DC 14 then, right?
Yeah. Go ahead and make that roll.
So is it 2d6 rolls of oh God. Okay.
It's a montage. Great. While Asena is having 7 rolls. While Asena is hanging out with her maybe mom, John is hitting the streets. We see, a shot of him talking with some urchins, a shot of him in an alleyway, a shot of him tailing the police, just cutting back and forth with all this stuff.
I'm assuming since we have 7 checks, we're probably looking at a over and under of a certain amount of successes versus failures to see how this works, right? It's probably where we end up.
Every check takes a certain number of hours, and you have to get 7 successes before they're all.
We have to have 7 successes? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But failures just take more time, I believe. So
yeah.
While you're making those rolls, pods, what would you do, assuming that John was going to be busy for like most of the day trying to track down these agents, and your mom is going to be making these phone calls? And John, feel free to make these rolls while we're talking, by the way.
Yeah. John would have started last night, so that way it can cut out some of this stuff.
It'll be a plot appropriate amount of done is the plan. What would Asena do next?
That's a good question.
She's just sort of like, what do I do now?
Yeah. We could go back to my place and I could show the Dargan where I live.
Okay. You bring Dargan back to your lair in Aelberg. And if people were leaving you the hell alone in Aelberg before when they see this enormous dog at your side, actually, doesn't John have to be with you for the illusion to be maintained?
Yes.
So when you don't have John, your Dargan is a Dargan, not a dog.
Okay.
But I think you can keep him in Aelberg because nobody goes to Aelberg. Aelberg is just like weird stuff, right? So you literally have a dragon just walking around Aelberg.
If Asena wants, John could have spent some time last night crafting a spell tattoo to allow her to be able to cast an illusion spell just if she needs it in a pinch while he's gone.
That could work. But she hasn't used it.
Well, I'm going to just say that John did take that time. And so whenever you'd like, it would take a little bit of time to put that tattoo on you. So that'll just be some of his time. And you'll have where is it here? Which one of these is the one we've been using? I just moved all my stuff around. Just a moment. There we are. Silent image. So that's going to be 10 minutes. It'll last for 10 minutes. It takes your concentration to use. and you're able to create an image of an object, creature, or some other visual phenomenon that's no larger than a 15-foot cube. So it will encompass your entire dragon, and you'll be able to. You can't mask the sound and smell, but you can make it look like a big old dog.
Cool.
In dragon form, going in Aelberg at your den, looking at all the various weird treasures and stuff you've accumulated.
This is your hoard?
Yeah. See, everything on the shelves is like stuff that I got on my travels, so I think that's the definition of a hoard.
Where is your coinage? Your wealth?
Well, I had some, but I just got that stolen. So I gotta get it back.
We shall devour the thieves.
Yeah, we shall. But only because they did bad things to us.
Good. Thieves will taste best.
Yeah. Good people don't taste as good.
Roll a deception check, please. Unless Asena earnestly believes that. 20.
Curious, why is that?
Probably because you are a creature of bad things, so you like bad things. They taste better to you because they are like you.
Your logic is flawless.
Perfect. Check out this lamp I got. It turns on and it turns off. And this pen, it writes things. Sometimes we draw right here. And this place is cool because it's really cold and like cave-like.
Yes. Home.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what else to show you, but this is it. It's kind of just simple. I sleep on the floor here.
We will eat the thieves and recover your treasure. Then we will have a bed of coins to sleep on.
I could let you sleep on the coins.
Dargan will remember this. Ba-ding. John, what am I calling it? The montage ends as John follows the canals where the trail has led him, focusing largely on the McCulloch building, where Department 7 makes their base of operations on a secret unregistered floor. Tracking the most elusive clues because the Coriander agents have done a very good job of blending in. Asking around in the Undercity, the mole people, the urchins, the folks of Aelberg, the ones who creep along the canals, calling in favors with department agents, tapping their phones, all sorts of different things. The trail eventually leads you out to here, Pier 11.
Pier 11, you say?
Mm-hmm.
And mate, what time was it yesterday when we finished up with Hara?
Oh, mid-afternoon.
Okay, so John could have done most of this then before they went to bed last night, right?
Mm-hmm. And so
Okay,
he just finishes up ominously as the sun rises. That'll be perfect. So the sun is rising and it's spreading over as he's following the trail of these Coriander agents to Pier 11, which is locked, closed off. Doesn't look like anyone's been here for a while. Roll an investigation check for me, please.
Investigation check.
18.
Was that a failure?
No.
Okay, good. If you're a cop, you legally have to tell me if you're a cop.
No, you can definitely tell. There's signs of vaguely moved dust and traces of magic that were used here. How do you get past the lock?
Oh, how do I get past a lock, you say?
Mm-hmm.
John's first going to try and pick it.
Cool.
Because he's gotten used to doing things a little more manually than he used to.
Roll it.
Lock picking, yeah.
It's easily picked. You're able, and it's one of those big old padlocks on a chain. You are able to undo the chain and push your way into the dark recesses. What's your passive perception?
22.
Roll an active perception check. Obviously, the hair on the back of your neck as a trained investigator is pricking up.
We are looking at a natural 1. That's not going to stand. I don't mind having a natural 1 for most instances, but this is very important. So John's going to go ahead and use that 1 lucky die that we got for this session to
Roll again.
Go ahead and re-roll that.
20.
A dirty 20, and I'm going to use one of my deduction die before you say anything. So that is going to add a 1d8 for an 8. That'll be 28.
Okay. It's quiet. Not even too quiet. Just quiet. You're alone, but you smell something. Ammonia. Bleach. And cordite. Gunpowder.
Gunpowder, you say?
Gunpowder and bleach.
Is John able to make an assessment as to why those combination of smells would be important as why he's been tracking him to this place?
Now roll an investigation check to make some deductions and investigate the scene.
A dirty 20.
We good?
If it fails, I have another thing. So
it does not
do you want me to go ahead? Okay, cool.
Going around the area, the pier, there's a warehouse that goes out over the dock, right? And you walk out over there, and a lesser investigator would not notice that some of the floorboards have been replaced within the last 24 hours, less. And they also wouldn't notice the very faint bleach stains that have been painted over us on that floor, ostensibly to remove blood. They also wouldn't have found the bullet holes, the bullet embedded in a nearby crate that you located, along with several marks of offensive magic being used. There was a fight here. There was blood and it was cleaned up. There was damage to the floorboards and it was repaired. What do you do?
I'm just taking some notes. You said at the very beginning of this statement, you said noticing within 24 hours or less. Was that all of this, or was there something I missed as part of 24 hours or less?
All of this happened in the last 24 hours. There was a fight here that involved guns, magic, and whoever won or somebody cleaned it up.
You said there was bullet holes in the crate. Were there any bullets left nearby in the crates, or were they all recovered?
The bullets were recovered.
As were the casings, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the bullet hole, would John be able to make a determination, just because he's so intimately familiar with it, that that bullet hole would have been made by his personal firearm that he's carried for the last decade?
No.
Or is it impossible to tell?
It was not used. It was not fired with Krontaka.
Okay.
It was, however, fired with a much more sophisticated firearm than is normal to Northport.
Okay. Interesting.
Whoever shot it was standing where the floorboards that have been replaced are.
You said that there was signs of magic. What kind of magic?
Scorch
Was John
marks,
able to ascertain?
freeze marks,
Scorch marks?
combat magic. All
John
one
knows.
direction. It all came from whoever was inside the warehouse, not whoever attacked them who came from the outside.
Question. The the signs of magic. John knows that there was a ton of traps that were on the case.
Mhm.
Does this look like a ton of fireballs might have gone off here, like they tried to get into John's case, or is this more like there was just a fight here?
Roll an Arcana check.
Arcana.
Natural 20. Okay. As you scan, there's significant magical disruption here. Astral disruption. A planar crossing occurred here. And it is strongest underneath the floorboards.
When you say planar disruption, is that like as in Asena pulling us out when the teleportation was happening?
Like that, but
kind of
messier. Much messier.
messier. Okay. You said under the floorboards. Can John try and get under there?
Yeah, absolutely. With a little bit of effort, you pry him loose. There is massive scorching under here, as if 30 fireballs went off.
Okay.
But
well,
there was water.
Oh no! It just dawns on John what happened.
And you see floating in a shallow pool of water, the briefcase with a massive bullet hole through it.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to leave our heroes. We'll be right back with more Coriander Society adventures, folks. Don't go anywhere.